Hey everybody, I had to do a new beginning to this video because evidently I had the heater on and it was blowing on the microphone, so you couldn't really hear what I was saying. So while I was driving to work this morning, I made a video about my feelings on the upcoming Richlands election. So the part that you're going to miss from that video is most of you know I was on the council for 8 years. My last year was in 2018, so I haven't been on it for the last 2 years. I never served with Mr. Crawford, Paul, but I was on the council with Jan. And here's a few things that I just wanted to put out there about some of the candidates. Nothing. I tried not to be negative about anything, but I wanted to relay the truth about some things, because we're getting inundated with mailers and billboards and signs, and gosh, I don't know about y'all, but I'll be glad when it's all over. But this is my 2 cents, and if you like it, I hope you pass it on, because it's the truth. I have nothing to gain from it. I'm not running for anything, and I live in town. I want to see town do good, and most of y'all know I've put a lot of time into the projects that I've worked on, and I see them through, and I want other people in there that's going to do similar things, and hopefully bigger things, a lot bigger things. So I'll cut this off now and kick on the rest of the video. Thanks. I had the pleasure or displeasure of serving with. So first, about the mayors. There is nothing that I can say bad about either one of the mayors. They're both great people. They're awesome. They both care about the town. They both have family that live in this town. And there's no doubt in my mind that either one would do a great job. One thing people need to realize is that the mayor is the figurehead. They don't have a lot of say in a lot of things. It's mostly the council. So if you've got a weak council, you'll have a weak showing for the mayor, because unless it's a tie vote, the mayor does not have a vote. So with that, you got to realize that things that happen in town is not always the mayor's fault, whether it's Jan or whether it's Paul. And like I said, I've known both of them for several years. I've known Jan a long time, and she's a great person. She works hard for the town, and when she was mayor, she worked hard. And then Paul, I've known him since I worked at Lear back in 1994, because they taught my pre-employment class. That's been a while, but great guy. They're both vested in the community, and I think either one of them would do a really awesome job. And I just hate seeing either one of them get dragged around, because they're both really good people. And that's my opinion on the mayors. The only other one I really want to talk about is we've got one that has been there for 12 years. And I want you to keep in mind, I was actually on the council for 8 of those 12 years with this guy, Doug. I like Doug. I've got along with Doug. When I was on the council, I probably voted with Doug more than I did anybody else. But I also voted against Doug. And for him to get on and say that the reason he hasn't done anything in the last 12 years is because he didn't have a majority, that's just not true. On major things, at least during the 8 years I was there, on the big stuff, the stuff that really affected the town, he usually had the majority. And there was a lot of things that were brought up by him, even by me, that shouldn't have been passed. It's one of those knee-jerk reactions, or something like spending $500 million rebuilding buildings in town when you've got retail spaces and privately owned property that's falling down around us. There are probably better things we could spend that money on, but that's just my opinion. But during those 8 years while I was on the council with Doug, lot of things passed, a lot of good stuff, and some not so good stuff that didn't work out the way everybody thought it would. But for him to say he didn't have a majority, he had the majority when it was something that made sense. That's why you have more than one council person. One council person is not right all the time. And if you have council people that vote together 100% of the time, then you got the wrong council people. And like I said, when my last council meeting, there was not one person on that council or that I had served with over those 8 years that I didn't vote against, because I didn't think it was in the best interest of the town, or I didn't think it was a good idea. And I also voted with everybody. So I think I tried to do what I felt was right, and that's the only thing I promised when I was elected. So again, the majority thing just doesn't wash out. Okay. The other thing is, you have several other council members on there, of course. You have the 3 on the other side, 2 of which were the highest vote getters each time they ran. That's Rod Curry and Mary Ann Strong. Richard's only been on there this time for a short period. He actually replaced my seat when I left. So Mary Ann Strong and Rod Curry had the highest number of votes, which means you guys out there and me trust them enough to make the right decision. And I think that trust is well placed, because not at any time during my tenure did I ever question the integrity of either one of those people. Again, they're well vested in the community. They participate, and you'll not find people that are more proud of what Richlands has been and can be than those two. Again, great people. And you guys obviously think that too, or you wouldn't have voted for them in mass quantities, maximum ever. And that's a good idea. Okay, now with the trust that you've put in those people, do you not think sometime during that tenure, now Rod was on there the entire time I was as well, if Doug came up with a great idea that's going to save the town, or found that there was an impropriety within the town, do you not think that those two would vote with Doug to correct it? I think so, and I think you probably think so if you think about it, because they're not going to do anything to jeopardize, 1, their integrity, 2, the town. That's my feeling on those two. And when he says he didn't have a clear majority, there's probably a reason. And those people are going to react the way they need to react to do what's best for the town and for their families and for the community, as a whole. Because, when you think of Richlands, you think of the town of Richlands. Well, we have a community. It goes from Molly Hopper Bridge to the McKinney County line to Russell County line. We're all in this together, even though we have different town names, but we all affect each other, and they realize this. So when Doug says he had an idea and it didn't pass because he didn't have a clear majority, well, there's a reason. Because A, it didn't make sense, B, you couldn't pay for it. Just like the fire truck, he voted to pass for them to buy a new fire truck, almost $500,000. Fire trucks are not cheap, and they have to last for a long time. So, but he turned around and voted against the tax to pay for it. So nobody could say he didn't vote for the fire truck. He just didn't vote to pass the money to pay for it. There you go. And then the last thing I want to run by everybody is you really need to go out and vote. I want you to sit down and think. Don't look at who spent the most money on billboards, or who's saying they're going to do this or who's saying they're going to do that. Look at actions. Look at their actions. It's just like, you may not like the way the federal or the national election will go, but actions speak louder than words. And he has not produced. And you can't tell me out of 16 other council members that he has participated with, that number may be off, but I think it was 16, that all of them are going to be against Doug Ratliff. It just don't work that way. Now, the rest of this is solely my opinion. He's a momentum killer. Every time you can look back when the town has had something good going, when the town has had some momentum on something positive, it gets killed, bogged down. You'll have 3 months of talking about cats. Cats, okay? This town has a lot worse things going on than cats on Doug's property. Okay? The fluoride thing that came up that time, we had some really good momentum going with things in town. Boom, fluoride. Okay? Fluoride is a huge issue for a lot of people. And I actually voted with Doug at that time. However, I didn't learn until recently that the reason he said that he voted against it was because he's allergic to fluoride. Another personal thing. It shouldn't matter what he thinks, it's what benefits the community as a whole. And it's just, there's so many things like that that I beg you to sit down and think through. And don't look at it as just Doug. Think about it as a council as a whole. You've got some really intelligent people on the council, and it is a well-rounded council, including the people that are running this time that are incumbents. Rick's a great dude. Rick helped me when I needed help with a function for the town, the access point of Critter View. Rick was great. He helped me in any way that I needed, and he is really enthusiastic about the trails, which is, there's so much potential there that if we don't get somebody on that council that sees that, then again we're going to lose out. Everybody around us is going to benefit except Richlands. So I wasn't on there with I was on there with Vicky before. I haven't been on there with Jeff, which I know Jeff's a good dude too, and he's going to do what's good for the town, but he's not going to be there long. So you really need to talk to these folks like Mikey Street. You need to talk to Elliot Joyce, Eric Phipps, and a good friend of mine, Bonnie Cook. I've known Bonnie for a long time. I worked with her, and she worked for me, and she's a good person. She really has the best of the town at heart. And, she's not going to do anything radical, but she's going to listen when things need to go a certain way to make things better for the town. Mikey got a good head on his shoulders. He's covered all his bases. He has everything that's come up so far that is a issue. He has participated. He's studied it. He's seen both sides of the equation. How he's going to respond, I don't know. But I think he's doing his due diligence, and that's what you want in a council member. He's not just doing it because somebody told him. Elliot, great dude. You got to be a well-rounded person to be a probation officer, especially these days. He has great ideas, along with Mikey and Eric, and I think if they can get an opportunity, I think you're going to see some change, because right now we've got a 12-year incumbent running on change. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Well, not the craziest. One of them, though, it's real close. As far as this election, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I think we all want change because what we're doing is not working. And I think the best way to get that change is you're going to have to go out there and you're going to have to, don't go with the guy that's spending $20,000 for a position that pays $100 a month. Say he does it because he loves the town, but obviously from the votes that we've talked about, the big major things, it's all been personal. So, like I said, I hate that because I do like Doug. I think he gets a little sideways, and here lately he's been a lot sideways. So, with that being said, if you want change, go out there and vote for Mikey, Elliot, Eric, or Bonnie, and try to get that change going. And if you can vote against anybody. If you can vote one person out, it needs to be Doug, because he's that momentum killer. If you get some of these other guys in there with Rick will be good. Rick will be good. He'll be great. And, well, there's the long and short of this. It went a little longer than I thought it would, but I was driving and I thought it would be a good time to throw that out there, and it's way too much crap to type, and besides, got sick of reading typing anyway. So instead, you got to watch me drive from dark to daylight. So if anybody has any questions, call me, shoot me a message on Facebook. If anybody wants to argue, you're wasting your time. I'm not going to argue with you. We've all had enough of that junk. So y'all be safe this weekend. Kick COVID in the hind end, all y'all out there that's got it. And let's get some change going in Richlands. We need it, because you drive around and look and things are just falling apart. So let's get her done, and I'm going to work, and need me, call me. Hey everybody, I had to do a new beginning to this video because evidently I had the heater on and it was blowing on the microphone, so you couldn't really hear what I was saying. So while I was driving to work this morning, I made a video about my feelings on the upcoming Richlands election. So the part that you're going to miss from that video is most of you know I was on the council for 8 years. My last year was in 2018, so I haven't been on it for the last 2 years. I never served with Mr. Crawford, Paul, but I was on the council with Jan. And here's a few things that I just wanted to put out there about some of the candidates. Nothing. I tried not to be negative about anything, but I wanted to relay the truth about some things, because we're getting inundated with mailers and billboards and signs, and gosh, I don't know about y'all, but I'll be glad when it's all over. But this is my 2 cents, and if you like it, I hope you pass it on, because it's the truth. I have nothing to gain from it. I'm not running for anything, and I live in town. I want to see town do good. And most of y'all know I've put a lot of time into the projects that I've worked on, and I see them through. And I want other people in there that's going to do similar things, and hopefully bigger things, a lot bigger things. So I'll cut this off now and kick on the rest of the video. Thanks.